back to Bexa Boss Lady. I am Rebecca and thank you for joining me today. It's a sad day. I just took down all my holiday decorations, but my birthday is in 2 days, December 30th. So what's up, Capricorns? The new year is coming up, 2021. Fingers crossed that this baby is a lot better than the 2020 year we've been living in. As many of you are probably getting ready to end the year, you're probably like me where you're cleaning out your closets, you're getting ready to put all your holiday decorations away, you're ready for 2021. And what comes along with that is a purge, right? So you're purging your closet, you're purging your kids' rooms, you're purging your closets, and all of this creates stuff. And what do we do with this stuff? Well, most of the time we donate it or get rid of it, but a lot of people might be looking to make some extra money on it, or you're a reseller trying to make another revenue source, right? Well, let's talk about Thredup. Thredup is an online, they call themselves the largest online thrift store. It's been around for quite a few years now. They're going to have an IPO, so they've been doing a lot of changes lately. Some of the bigger changes are not so great for resellers who are looking to add another revenue source to their income streams. And let's go over what Thredup is and what these changes are and how that affects you. Thredup is great in the sense that they send you a shipping envelope they send you a shipping label, and you just pop that label in a box, fill it up with 30 pounds of stuff, and ship it on out. You don't have to take pictures, you don't have to measure anything, you don't have to write any descriptions. It seems like a really great way to make extra money. And for a while, a lot of people were taking advantage of that. There were a lot of resellers who were sending stuff in, and they were doing some things that Thredup did not care for. I don't blame Thredup for the changes that they made. As a reseller, it kind of stinks for us because they did change a few things that are going to negatively impact our sales. Basically, if you get a label, you can go online, you can request, they call them kits. You request a kit and they will send you, it'll email you shipping label, you print it out. You're gonna have to select two options, whether you want your stuff they don't accept return to you and whether or not you want expedited shipping. Right now, at the end of the year, they're about 6 months out for regular processing times, which means the $16.99 expedited fee makes sense if you understand the value of your items, what they're going to list them for, what you're going to sell them for, what you're going to make, so you know that you can recoup that money. However, it's not a guarantee that all of your stuff is going to sell. I just got a bunch of stuff back from them and I only ended up making $9 on it after I sent in all this stuff, and they took out the return assurance and the $16.99 expedited processing fee. It actually might be $18.99 now. I'm not really, I need to check on that. I'll make sure I put the appropriate links in the description below. So basically, you fill up your stuff. They take women's clothing, kids' clothing, shoes, and purses and accessories. They don't take jewelry anymore, and they don't take men's clothing. You're going to pack it all up. You're going to throw it in your car, and you're going to haul that crap to FedEx, and you hand it to them. They scan it, and it goes off to Thredup land. They have processing centers all over the country. Depending on where you live, that is where it's going to go. Then you wait for it to get processed. They are going to send you an email saying they received your bag and an estimated processing time. And then you're going to get an email saying your bag has processed, which you want to pay attention to because you only have 12 hours before it goes live to change the initial prices. Their initial pricing is awful. They make a lot of mistakes, and it is very important that you pay attention to what you send to them, what you sent to them, what they accepted, and the value of those items. One of the biggest changes Thredup made that really has upset a lot of resellers is they are pricing stuff at 50% of retail and then having us change the prices in between the 0 to 50%. So let's say you have an item that is retailed for $100. They are going to price it somewhere between $50 and $1. Their pricing seems to be totally made up. They claim they have an algorithm that sets it at the best price to have the fastest sale, which is a very low price. If you are not wanting to earn pennies on the dollar for your items, you have to pay attention to what they are accepting. Which leads me to my first tip. Number 1, track everything you send to them. What I do is take a half-page shipping label, I stick it to the inside of the box, I handwrite everything that I put in there, what size it is, new with tags, what brand, and then I number it so I know exactly what's in there. I put the box number, my name, my email, so there's no confusion, and then I take photos of it. I take photos of the box, I take photos of everything in it, and I take photos of that label and then transfer it to an Excel spreadsheet. This way, when they are processing your stuff and they mark your retail value of something that clearly has a retail value on it, and they mark it at $150, even though it has a $495 tag on it, you can say, hey, look, this is not correct. Now, let's talk about this because this is a very important thing. My best friend, Eleni, just had this issue with Thredup, and I think that we need to talk about it because it's very interesting to see how their business model works. Eleni had a blazer that had a retail tag on it for $129. The tag actually said $129 on there. They priced it very low and put the retail value of this blazer as $50, which is not correct. The retail value of the blazer is $139. It wasn't from like 1985. It wasn't from a Walmart brand. It was a very nice classic blazer from a good brand. When she contacted them about that, they claimed that there was a sale tag on it, which she knows is not true because she actually had photos of this item that she had listed on Poshmark and had photos of the tag. So she knew that there was no sale tag on this price tag for this item. She messaged me and was like, what do I do? They're saying that this is happening and, they're only paying me a few dollars on this when it was, a really nice blazer. I said, ask them where in their fine print or in the details of what they are accepting, where does it say their pricing strategy? Where does it say on there that if you send stuff with a sale tag on them, that they are going to price it as that's a sales price, as the retail price? And guess what? They don't. It is not in writing. They do not have anything about their pricing guides. So they're making it up as they go, which kind of is interesting because that just leads me to believe that I don't want to send anything to them anymore because not only are they arguing about retail prices when there's actually a resale tag on there, there's no rhyme or reason how they can price things, and they're basically just willy-nilly doing this. Now, they did end up paying her out a higher amount because she escalated it and said, look, this is not right. I have a picture of it. This is a problem. She also had issues of them doing it with some other items, and they required her to send listings, like actual retail listings and photos of the same item selling at Nordstrom, Macy's, Blue Fly, wherever, that the retail value of this designer brand was not $30. It was a lot of work for her to go through and do all this stuff. Well, it ends up that the chat was not saved that she was doing it in, so she had to redo the whole thing, which it's just a lot of work. So sometimes it's worth it to just sell on your own. But in this case, it was actually an item she had for a really long time. It wasn't selling on Poshmark, and she sent it there and it sold right away. There are give and takes with this, but the reality is once you send your stuff off to them, they are in charge of your items. You have a limited ability to change the pricing of your stuff, but they control your payout, they control your pictures, they control the retail price, I guess. It is a lot of work to get in there and make sure everything is okay, be aware of what they're selling your items for, check all the retail prices. Another issue that I've run into, which is my tip number 2, if you paid for expedited shipping and they are saying it's 3 weeks and it is going another week and another week and another week and another week, which it did for several of my boxes, contact them. They ended up crediting me expedited processing fee. And that was something that was very beneficial because I had several boxes I paid for expedited shipping and it ended up taking 6 weeks for them to process them. The problem with this is a lot of resellers during this pandemic period were taking advantage of Thredup and sending 10, 20, 30, 40 boxes a month to them. And if you have all sorts of people doing that, then they are becoming overloaded. So on top of everyone at home during a pandemic sending in their stuff, you have resellers who are trying to operate a business and have a business model through Thredup, which is definitely contributing to the backlog of all these boxes. One of the changes they implemented because of this is the 2-bag a month rule. You can only request 2 kits a month now. They are trying to get caught up. They've never had a wait like this, and they're really dragging as far as having limited staff because of COVID and the overwhelming amount of stuff that people are sending in. It's really becoming a problem for them. So to kind of slow down the roll here, they have limited boxes to 2 per month per seller. Tip number 3, do not send anything to them that has a sale tag on it. Take those sale tags off. Leave the retail price, leave the highest price you can on there, and make sure you have a photo of the tag in the item before you send it to them, in case you run into an issue like Eleni did with the pricing. You have proof. Who knows what happens. The tag could fall off. There could be issues. Anything like that, just make sure you have that documented. Number 4 is not really a tip. It's just a, FYI. It takes a really long time to get paid on Thredup. So if you're thinking you're going to send all this stuff in and make a bunch of cash, it's not really how it works. You send the stuff, it takes however long to get there. Then they have the processing time. Then they list the stuff. Then it goes to something called bidding, which I don't really understand, so I'm not going to talk about it. Then it gets listed. Designer and higher end brands get listed for 90 days. Lower end items get listed for 60 days. And once someone buys it, that item gets shipped to them. So however long it takes to get shipped to them. And then once it's delivered, that they have 14 days to return that item. So not only is your item held up for months at a time, but they also have the ability to return that item within that 14 days. Then the item comes back to them, they relist it, and your clock starts over again. Once that sells the second time, you are going to get paid out. I think it's once it gets delivered. There are issues with that in the sense that they get it, they take it back, they send it back, and then there's just more time added to everything. This is not something that I would say is a part of a business model that you'd want to really, it's nothing that's going to be, not that reselling is get rich quick, because it's definitely not, but the fact that you can't control a lot of the factors is a part of the problem with them. You can't control the factors. You can't control the timing. You can't control shipping. You can't control any of this stuff. There definitely is a delay between sending your items there and then getting paid. The other problem with them is that they also, it's not a problem. It's really just a business decision, but they take out processing fees. Not only do they take a very high percentage of your item based on a sliding scale for how much the item is priced and what brand it is, they also charge you like a 2% fee to transfer your money to PayPal or to your bank account. So it's another fee on top of their very high percentage rates, which ultimately impacts your sales and your income on the long term. All right, let's talk about the changes. One of the biggest changes that they made is on the pricing cap. Now, as a buyer, I would go on Thredup and look for something, and I would see Coach shoes from 1985 that were selling for $250, which is crazy. The way it used to be, they would allow you to raise your price of your item up to 80% of the retail value. If you price your item at $100, if your item has a retail price of $80, Thredup allowed you to raise the price to 80% of whatever that is. Well, what happened in the pandemic is people learned that you could max out all of your prices, which is fine. People were sharing their tips like we do in this industry. I don't necessarily believe that that is good advice to max out everything. What was happening is people were sharing things, Gloria Vanderbilt jeans that were selling for $85. This is few and far between. Most people were not paying $80 for Gloria Vanderbilt jeans, but someone did. Someone wanted those pants. They bought them. The person made like $40 some on it. And then they actually were sharing all of this on Instagram, showing how much money they made on their items. And I will be the first to admit, I I kind of fell into this because I was like, oh, more people are shopping on Thredup. I should be sending more stuff into them. Let's see if I can make some extra money and have this revenue stream. So I sent all sorts of stuff that I've either had for a really long time or stuff that I got a really good price on that I know would sell better over there. Well, let me just tell you, it did not go great. I didn't make tens of thousands of dollars. I made a couple thousand, which is fine, but I also have hundreds of items sitting downstairs that I now have to reprocess because I'm not sending anything else back to them. Normally, I would ship that back to them and have them relist it. Because of the changes they're making, I'm not interested in doing that anymore. Now, you are only allowed to raise the price up to 50% of retail. Now, if it's $100, you can raise it to $50. So that's 50%. You can raise it to 50% without a reclaim penalty. The reclaim penalty says that if you raise your price of your item above $50 on this $100 item, so if you price your item between $50 and $80 and it does not sell, you have to pay $5.99 to have that item shipped back to you. That's every single item that you raise above that $50 above the 50% threshold. You have to pay $5.99 to get it shipped back to you. That adds up. That adds $5.99 to the cost of every single one of your items, which ultimately is going to prevent people from raising their prices, which is exactly what they want. They don't want to have you raising your prices so high that buyers like me see the stuff and think, I'm not buying anything on there. This is their way of allowing us as resellers or as sellers on there. They're allowing us to raise our price to 80%, but they're penalizing us if it does not sell. The other thing they're not allowing anymore are reclaims before there is 7 days left in the listing. I didn't really know people were doing this. Maybe I wasn't smart enough to figure it out. Maybe I was just not interested in doing this, but apparently people were cross-listing their items that they had on Thredup on the other platforms. And then I don't know if they were shipping it direct, like if it's sold on, I guess you couldn't really do that on Poshmark because you have to use their shipping labels. Well, if it's, let's say it's sold on Thredup, their shipping is relatively quick. So they ship the item to you. Let's say you have it in 4 days. You could theoretically turn around and ship that on Poshmark. So now Thredup has paid for you for one item to reclaim to you, and then you've sold it on another platform. So they've made no money on this item, but they've put the time and the labor and the cost of the shipping into this item. From a business perspective, why would you have people being able to do that? That doesn't make any sense. You're selling something on Thredup and then on eBay, like you sold it on eBay. So then do you put that buyer's address in there if you sell it on eBay? I don't know. To discourage that and not allow that anymore, they are not allowing you to reclaim your items before 7 days is up on the item. One other big change that they made is the discount cap. If you price your item, I'm still talking about this $100 retail item. If you price your item over 50% cap, the 50% cap, you have $5.99 to reclaim that item in that 7 day period at the end of the listing. They're also eliminating the 20% coupon discount, which they were giving us as a courtesy. Let's say your item is $100, you list it for $50 and they use a coupon. Whatever your percentage of commission is, they were only taking 20% out. So if the person used a 50% off coupon, you were only getting 20% deducted from your payout. However, if you price your item at $75 for this $100 item and the person uses a 50% off coupon, the full 50% is taken out of your payout. Not only are you penalized by paying to return the item if it does not sell, but you're also getting penalized because they are using promotions that we can't control. Ultimately, the higher percentage coupon they use is taken out of our payout. We really have made a lot of these changes to prevent people from using the platform as a business. To me, it seems like they're getting really good inventory from us. You know, they want good inventory. Resellers have been sending them really nice stuff. If they're going to change how they want things priced, then they need to alter their payout structure because it is so awful. Their payout structure for mall brands and brands that are just not really that designer upscale brands is awful. It's like minuscule. I guess if you're just someone who wanted to literally clean out their closet, which is what their platform was made for, and you send it, you don't care how much money you make, hey, yay, it's a win for you. But if you're someone that, like me, that's trying to make a business out of reselling, or you're trying to make profits on your items, or even just recoup the cost of your items, then this business model is going to impact you. These changes are from November 9th. I've seen thousands upon thousands of items getting returned to resellers on Instagram. Now, do I think that resellers were taking advantage of Thredup? Absolutely. Do I think that Thredup had a reason to make these changes? Yes. And I will tell you that one time I was on Thredup, I don't know, it was like July, and a little thing popped up that said, can you take this quick survey? And it was about pricing. I knew that these changes were coming because they want a thriving business model. They want customers coming. And when you have your customers constantly complaining about how high your prices are, and they're not going to come shop there, they are going to go to your competitors like eBay and Poshmark and Mercari. It doesn't seem like they're interested in working with resellers on the flip side of the commissions. We send them inventory. So for them, it's like literally inventory being sent to them. They're getting their inventory from us. So it would seem like a better way to do this was to make some changes that they made, but then also reevaluate the payout structure so that it is more beneficial to resellers. I guess it does cut into their pricing, but they're going to lose a lot of inventory coming in, I think, in 2021. It'll be interesting to see if and when they change these, if they go back, or any changes they make moving forward. One of the really crappy things is they tried to make these changes. I think it was in October. People went nuts and blew up their social media, and they ended up saying, okay, just kidding, we'll do it again, but we'll give you a 30-day notice, which they ultimately didn't really do. They just said some of these changes don't apply for kits that were sent in previous to November 9th. Only a few of these changes were impacting your boxes if you sent them prior. I guess if you have a bunch of crap just laying around, you're going to donate it to Goodwill anyway. What's the harm in making a few bucks on it? If you don't care when it gets processed, you could just pick standard shipping. But as far as a business standpoint, and for me, I will not be sending anything else to Thredup. I will be honest with you, I don't think I sold anything at max price when I did do that. Most of the items that I have on there that have sold have all been $40 or less. It's not a get rich scheme. It's not this lucrative way to make money. And honestly, it is a lot of work. You have to track everything you send to them. And so for me, I'm just going to list the stuff myself. I know my style. I know I'm good at it, and I'm just going to leave it there. If you have any issues with Thredup or anything that you learned about them or these new changes, please comment below. I always love to hear your thoughts and opinions on these amazing topics I choose to talk about on my YouTube channel. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. I will see you next time.